Theatre Company and went on to become their regular Level 2 teacher. That is correct, isn't it, Craig? Yes, it is, yes! He was a member of the Harold team Foggy Windows and was also a regular at Improv Planet's weekly improv stand-up showcase, doing fully improvised stand-up comedy based on the popular setlist format, which we've seen before.
We've seen before.
Yeah. That's hard. That's fucking hard.
That's copyright.
It is. I've got to turn that off before we do that. His non-improv experience includes writing, performing and directing the play I Want to Hold Your Hand as part of Tim Miller's is it Queering the Body? Yeah, Queering the Body performance workshop in St Kilda, and TV appearances on Neighbours, Offspring, House Husbands, and The Worst Year of My Life Again, which is actually my daughter's favourite show.
So she recognises it?
I haven't told her that I'm talking today. So
I was at a wedding for Tom.
Yeah, don't. I'm fine.
Who is it?
I haven't finished, fucktard. I just borrowed that from Cindy earlier. He moved to Sydney last year, currently teaches both Level 1 and 2 long-form improv at Laugh Masters, and is one of the very few improvisers in Sydney who didn't learn Keith Johnston first, and to my mind, that makes him exceptionally brilliant. Please welcome David Bennett!
Grab a seat.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I went to get my questions and I realised I haven't got any questions. So I won't get it.
Seeing some art.
Yeah. So would Richard's daughter recognise you from TV?
If she has an incredible sense of vision, because I'm a wedding photographer, and I do this, and then they actually dubbed, I didn't have a speaking role, but they actually dubbed someone's voice over it who did. And all of a sudden, they're like, "Good shot, guys." I'm like, "That's not my fucking voice," but that way they get to pay me a lot less money. I think I got $200 for that shoot, and if I spoke, then I would get something like $700.
Wow.
So what about all those other ones? Were they all dubbed as well? Do you have an official dubber that dubbed you?
No, and those was more like.
Oh yes, man who reads and points.
Yes. That was my neighbor's.
I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Chicken wings.
Yeah. Now, did you get those because of your improv experience, or did you have previous acting experience, or just random guy?
It was more random guy with a lot of time on his hands.
Right.
Is that what you listed as?
No, it's kind of good.
Yeah. Because you're a creative, right? For a living, you.
Yeah. I work in design.
Design. Yeah, nice.
But when I first moved over to Australia in 2013, I took I call it a sabbatical, a year off. I think my husband would call it I didn't get a fucking job. And during that time, I ended up doing I just did improv and comedy. And then I would do kind of little, through improv people, a lot of actors in improv, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, if you're not doing anything tomorrow besides eating some Hot Pockets, why don't you come over?" So I'd go to these shoots and just be
Some
Hot Pockets.
What's a Hot Pocket?
Oh, it's like a little pastry that you put in the microwave, and it's like pizza flavored, or sometimes broccoli and chicken.
There you go.
You can get them at the USA.
Yeah.
You can get them at the USA food store outside.
Wait, you seek them out specifically?
Built by Hot Pockets. It's like Funyuns, Twizzlers, Hot Pockets.
Wow, I need to go find them.
Carbo loading.
Yeah.
You probably can't have them.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
It's not so good.
Yeah. So speaking of husband, you've had a big week. It's your birthday tomorrow, and it was your 2-year anniversary on Sunday.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Here it's just we've been together a long time, but in the States we had an anniversary. Chris and I got married in New York City 2 years ago, which was great. And he gets a green card if we ever move back, and I got a de facto relationship.
So Chris is Australian?
Yes, Chris is Melbourne, born and raised. But we met in New York City. It's like it was meant to just be a one-night stand that's been 6 years later. It's true love.
Some nights are longer than others.
The roofies have just all right, it's pretty good.
Let's move to Australia where there's less of a commitment.
Depending on which week.
Yeah.
So, but you're in New York. And you didn't do any improv there, right? So
A little bit of improv. Just,
UCB.
UCB, just, but not, I wouldn't, some people are like, I went to UCB, they wear it like a varsity jacket. I worked right by there, and I would walk past there for like every day for about 4 years, and finally I'd go see ASCAD and do coach shows. And then I did finally just take, it was more like a kind of a workshop class, because I never kind of got my shit together in terms of time commitment, but I was like, oh, I love this. And that's why, one of the reasons why when I moved here, I was like, I have the time, I've got the energy, and I have Chris's money to sign up for classes. And that's how I got started with Improv Conspiracy through Adam Kangas and his school. And I just kind of wrote it through every next level, started teaching, and just kind of really got involved in the community down there. So when we moved up here, the job thing was pretty intense for a little while, and then I ended up taking a workshop through LMA with Aaron and with Colin Sweeney, and it was kind of like, oh, I miss this, like I miss this a lot. And we just got to talking, and I was like, I used to teach before, I can teach again, and it just kind of started from there. So it's worked out really well. The students are great, and the improv kind of scene here is really nice. Yes, there's some wonderful students here. Thank you guys. Check will come.
What is it you love about teaching brand new, like people who are brand new to improv?
Oh, I love that. I just like I love the. This is gonna sound terrible, and I don't mean it that way. I love the fear of day one, because I remember that I can you feel that very it's very palpable, that fear when people show up. They're kind of like, what am I getting myself into? Who are these people around me? And to then see 8 weeks or 6 weeks later this transformation. So every kind of class I like to say, what's the goal? Why are you here? Like what is the point? What do you want to accomplish out of this? And to see that growth through these through these people is I just find it just amazing. And people who might have been dealing with being maybe shy, or just felt they didn't have the confidence to speak in front of people, or they just wanted they were at a point where maybe they're new to a city and they just wanted to make some friends, and you'd see, after class, everyone's getting together, everyone's having beers, a community forms within like 2 weeks, which I think there's not a lot of other activities where that happens besides prison. So I think
so given the choice, you'd be like, I get paid for.
He's got a choice though.
Yeah.
You do have a choice.
Yeah.
We all have a choice.
But you're really passionate about teaching as well. Right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's...
So what's, we've seen a lot of level 1-ish improvisers over the years, and yours are consistently really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's them, not me. I think it's just the path. People who get into improv, I think you have two people. There's the checkmark people, like, I tick the box, I'm an improver now, and they can tell their friends, like, I did improv and I'm amazing, because they joined because like 8,000 people in their lives have told them how funny they are, And then there's people who join because they are either like comedy nerds, which I love, or they are pushing themselves like, I just want to try something different, or they're inspired by some way, but they feel like, I'm shit at this, I'm going to be so terrible at this. And those are the ones who I think stick with the program, stay with it, and who you end up seeing on stage and being, amazing. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just the skills that you get from it too. I'm just really passionate about as well. I just think, if you're kind of a business kind of person, and we do that, like with LMA, there is kind of this business component. Like, you wanted some business skills, here's a course for you. But also, I really like to focus on the more comedic side of things, and learning, the structure of what long form can be, and what it can take you to, and kind of step by step, so you get the confidence, you get the skills. So by the time you're really doing heralds or whatever you want to do with it. But yeah, I think that the students, I'm lucky to have students who show up every week, which is great, and they are willing to, they give themselves permission every week to get out of their own heads and just go for it. And I think that's the key, because when you don't do that, you're holding yourself back, and you're not gonna really get anywhere, because it's not gonna be fun for you. So I think those are the students, and I've been lucky to have students like that who trust me to let me get in their heads a bit and plunk around and say, you know, get out of yourself. Like, you're better than this, or you're more confident than this. So, yeah.
Can we just ask quickly, who's had Dave as a teacher in the audience? And can I have just a quick, who's an improviser in the audience? We should be all the same people. Right, okay, cool. I just want to know, who knows what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that we've heard in improv classes and workshops and all that is that scenes are about relationships. You have to listen really hard to what's happening and almost like react, or like pick something to react to and all that kind of stuff. Have you noticed any change in your relationship since you've started doing improv? Has that listening changed anything?
No, but and I tell you this because it's a skill. Actually, it's funny because it's a skill that the listening aspect. It's almost like you divide yourself into halves where my personal life is there, and then kind of not my stage life, but it's just the improv life is a bit different. And I see it almost as techniques and tools for improv. Should I carry them into my natural life more? Yes. You know? Yes.
We will take questions from the audience later as well. So,
am I really good at like pirating a scene in my own relationship? Yes. Taking it. No. But no, I think it's a great question. I'm much better at telling people how to run their lives than run my own. But I wish I could do better at that. But yeah, no, I think the skills for me, I think it's brought out more confidence in myself and kind of, and also I think, you know, it's fun. I don't know if anyone feels this way, but I felt like when I was growing up, I was quite bold, you know, and when I was like 15, 16, 17, and I would you know, dye my hair and wear, you know, all black or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and you'd just be out there and you'd be like, and if anyone had a problem, be like, fuck off, you know? But then there's something that changes. I don't know what happens with this arc where you start to become a bit more insular, maybe more, and I don't know if it was around the time I was coming out or whatever, but I felt myself kind of cocooning. Here's why. And you know, and just kind of got myself in this habit of wake up, work, repeat, and it was a couple of years. So for me, improv was a good way to kind of say, you know what, you know, again, it's this idea of giving yourself permission to do what you want and not worry. And I like there's those kind of, I hate to say memes, or you know, so many improv memes like, just say yes to life and yes and it, you know, and all that kind of stuff, which is great. But I think really for me, it is this idea of take the fucking risk and you'll land on your feet. Because if you don't, you know, if you're not doing anything, then you will just always stay in that same place. And I think as someone who does, like, you know, I move around a lot, I've done, you know, tried to push myself. Improv's a kind of, I think, a great reminder of just saying, fuck it, I'm just going to go with this because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you do that a lot when you get older.
Speaking of taking the risk, and you mentioned fear before, improvised stand-up comedy.
Yeah, jeez.
How high?
It's like, oh god, yeah. It was great, but it was awful. Like,
so the format is you get up, and then like one at a time they give you the topic that you're going to do.
It was a PowerPoint. It was a Jack Smith. Yeah, Jack Smith used to write it, and he was a former teacher at Improv Institute, but he was a writer for Adam Hill, and he was a Canadian guy who loved this format. And so he did this kind of side course on stand-up improv, and I just was like, oh, you know, there's still a part of it, like, you know, you like the center light, you know, being an ensemble is great, but it's also to be praised by yourself. So yeah, I tried that, and they would be at this pub on Sundays. Nobody would ever show up, which was kind of great. But then
talk us through your first experience.
I called my mother, or I called my mother a racist. I told this whole story about how racist she is, and she's not. She's like a lovely woman. But that kind of panic, fear, and adrenaline, it was just this weird. It was a story that I can believe fairly. Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe she's a racist. No.
But making it what?
No, poor Marianne. But yeah, no, it was this funny kind of the word. I remember the words too. I had moist, which is awful. Like, I just want to cringe now. Fanny pack.
Oh.
I mean, it just went downhill, and I was trying, I don't like to go blue a lot. I mean, I say that I probably will tonight. So anyway, but I do think it's a trying.
Yeah.
It sounds like it wasn't set up right though. I mean, to get words like that, I mean that's just...
Yeah, when the setup is funny and the content.
It was a bomb, but it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Is it more improv skills or more stand-up skills, do you think? I mean, which one do you need more of? And
I think it's actually, for my case, I was relying just on improv skills with no stand-up background. So I don't think in terms of was it successful as a set list type performance? No. Was it good in terms of just being able to kind of connect that story and connect to the audience and be really authentic and try to tell really true stories on the fly? It was great, and kind of make those connections in your head before, I know where I'm going to go, like a stand-up would, and I'm going to take my time to get there, but at the end there should be that payoff. 9 out of 10 times there was the payoff completely bombed. And at one point I actually just really forgot my train of thought, so I was up there going, and everyone's like, oh, this is sad. But then I actually have a YouTube, there was one video of it, and it's pretty tragic. So I like to watch it when I'm feeling a little egotistical.
I think it's pretty common though, isn't it? The whole, because you're kind of trying to get the thing and think the story. That's not you bombing. That's the format, I think.
I'd like to try it here again, like start it back up, because I think it's a great experience in terms of that. Just it's a different format, so it's just something completely new.
I have 2 weeks in November if you want to do it the first 2 weeks in November.
Yes, I do. I'm committing now.
Yeah, Easter and Wednesday night, first 2 weeks in November.
I will gladly bomb.
I'm in
on
San
Wednesday
Francisco,
night.
so you'll have to babysit the show, but if you want to do it.
Yeah, right. I can do that.
Tell us about Queer Body.
So that was with Tim Miller, who's a performance artist out of LA. Again, this was more acting, but it's just about movement, and it was about creating some sort of narrative, and it was centered around people who are identified as queer or queer friendly or not queer. I don't know.
What's queer friendly?
Like you won't hit me when you see. I don't know.
I didn't know that was
we'll
a special
share a
group.
juice
I thought that was normal.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
oh, you're sitting next to me. You're queer friendly. It's a lot. It's like a BLT.
Labels are helpful.
Tim's a great. He's a big advocate and activist, but a performance artist, and he was doing a workshop in Melbourne. And it was just a great experience because it was much more like I don't ever say like I'm an actor, and it was very much kind of an acting exercise. But in it it was very kind of cultish, but in the best ways, like the best parts of cults,
which are
the community and the drab beige clothing and the sweet potato pie. No, it was just it was a young kind of group of people who, unfortunately, some had experienced some violence or just displacement in their life because they were gay. Others were having more body issues and kind of body body issues, I guess what the word is. But it was interesting. But
the work you got.
Yeah, well, I did a thing. It was called "I Want to Hold Your Hand" because I not to get too deep, but holding hands in public is something that's always been fairly difficult for me, being just a gay man, and I myself experienced a little bit of violence in Boston in that kind of similar situation, where my husband, who is much more, I guess, I don't know what the word would be. Affection, yeah, loving and caring, and also just bolder than I am, and it's always been something that's always bothered me because you want to be able to express, and you can. There's nothing stopping you but your own head, and that's part of improv too. It's like let the fear go and just fucking deal with it. But it was something that we kind of explored. I explored in that and wrote kind of this piece which we got to perform, and it was all through kind of movement. It's all through movement and fan dancing. No. Sounds really awful now. No, but it was great because I think Tim, just that experience was to be in a room of actors too feels. Again, it's a very different experience, and you know the way people craft and think, and the way they can control their body and their emotions and their pitch and everything. It's just it's a great kind of experience.
So they're mainly professional actors, or
yeah, a lot of them are. They're all young, but they're all still pursuing it. And we all kind of stay in touch too. So again, it's that I love this. You know, arts communities tend to be really strong communities, which I love, and you know something like that was I think just good for me because again it's just. Some personal development, but you know, you've got this one life, and you know, we all have kind of shit to deal with. But it's like, get opportunities to push yourself through improv or through, you know, I want to learn the flute, whatever. But it's like, do something with your life.
Yeah.
You know?
What's next for you? What's the next like fear thing that you're gonna take on?
Pregnancy? No. I don't know. Divorce. What is the next thing? That's a great question. You know, to be honest, I know what it is. It's that step of being able to figure out professionally what I want to do. I think. You know, I do enjoy my line of work, but I find myself as I get older probably less satisfied with it, or satisfied with the lifestyle that it forces me to be in terms of the hours and stuff. So, you know, I'm one of these people who has a great sense or a great idea generation in my head, but very, very poor follow through. But I'm trying to work on that. So, and I think through that, I'm trying to find avenues where I can start pursuing either maybe teaching improv part-time, but get my hands in a couple other pies as well, just, you know, just to kind of, you know.
How does Sydney compare to Melbourne? Honestly,
In
because
what,
we all know.
in what respect?
In regards to the arts, because I mean, the impression I get is in Melbourne there's just so much happening. I mean, it's all over the place. Not to denigrate. Well, actually, it's fuck Sydney.
Not you guys.
No, you guys are great. You guys are great. But in Melbourne, you just have to stand there and you're embedded in it, you know. Whereas in Sydney, you've got to go find it, you've got to make it happen yourself, and all that sort of stuff.
I do agree. I think it is. I think I'm actually probably a poor spokesman for this too, because again, I've been a bit insular in my own kind of world in arts here, and that's
in Australia or Sydney?
I think just in Sydney a little bit, you know, and that's me trying. I need to get out more and kind of just get out there and meet, you know, just. I mean, it took me forever to meet you guys and meet, you know, Cindy, and there's so many people who've been doing things forever, and I think that's amazing. So that's on me, you know. But I do think in Melbourne,
It gets me how you say Melbourne. Blah 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 blah. Melbourne.
well, because for so long I was like Melbourne, everyone's like, ah, idiot. You know,
So
I'm
is that the forced way of saying Melbourne?
Yeah,
so
I think
you don't get it wrong.
Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I sound like a frog.
Sorry, as you were.
No, it's people always think I'm Canadian anyway, which is great.
Is it? Why is that?
Especially if you're American. I'll rip that flag off your backpack. No, there's I do. It's just there is an accessibility issue. I think sometimes in Melbourne it's right there, and it's promoted and it's supported, and you know, I do think it does. There's pockets within city, but I think, you know, is the quality the same? Yeah, it's just more. I think spread out. Yeah. So yeah, I think events like this and what you guys are doing, and as things grow, it just, you know, becomes you can create like a much larger ecosystem. Would be amazing, you know. And then of course, this is my thing, that's my thing, that's my thing. So I think bridging these kind of opportunities would be amazing. Yeah.
On to more important things. You collect greeting cards.
I don't know why I told you that. It was like
It's out now, guys.
Yeah.
desperate for like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to fucking ask.
Why,
you. Like,
when did you start collecting greeting cards? What was the first, like, what did you just have 3 lying around and were like, I guess I have to keep this
That's
one.
a collection.
Yeah.
I
Became a thing.
the first card that I remember getting was from my grandmother, and it was for Easter, and it said, "Nothing fancy, nothing funny, just a little Easter money." And it had a $2 bill in it.
Yeah.
I still have that card. And it's a terrible tacky card, but I was just like, ah. And then from there, I don't know what happened. It's like maybe it's some disorder or.
Is it some disorder?
Yeah. Do you like
I
so often
have
pull
just
them out
like
and read them?
drawers and. No, I collect them like you would art or
Oh, right.
prostitute. I don't know. No, I just have files of these cards, and I will give them away. I'm not that precious about it. But if there's a card that I really like, I'll buy duplicates. So one will be for a person, and the other will be for my personal collection.
Is that technically collecting though? I mean, I don't really care about them. I'll just give them away if I have to.
No, but he keeps
That's
one.
not-
I think it's more like hoarding.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Maybe it's an informed hoarding. I don't know.
It's organized.
Yeah, okay. Good.
But there's something that they're like little pieces of art now, I feel like. Joe's here. She's a production manager at work, and I'm trying to bring her into my business idea that I'll never follow through on.
That's a good thing to tell a
Right behind
potential
you.
business.
She's wanted to be like, anytime you need me, it'll never happen. So yeah. Who knows?
What is there actually a business idea behind these
Yes.
greeting cards?
Yes, there's actually a website. It's called Higbee, which is a family name.
How do you spell that?
Higbee. And it's my future online e-commerce greeting card site where you can buy greeting cards that I have bought.
A curated collection.
Right.
So the idea is it'll be more than that before I know. Yeah, that's kind of the basic premise.
So you're not giving them away.
Right
you're
behind you.
selling them. You're selling them away.
Yeah.
Look at retirement. It's a little,
Yeah.
Actions
It-
first,
it-
thought later.
Yeah. It could work in the hipster market, I think.
Are they in the greeting cards?
Which is,
They're
hand
not paying for
hand
stuff, that's for
curated.
sure. Yeah, right. Should we go to some questions?
Yeah, are there any questions from
Are there
the
any
audience?
questions from anybody about anything at all? No one?
Chris, anything that you've been trying to get him to talk about, but he's been.
Yeah.
We've shared enough.
Uh-oh.
She's like, one question, where's the exit?
Yeah.
Croatian ex sabbatical.
Good question. I think those days are over. But I think the plan is try to teach as much and get things up and running, and do more improv and do more Saturday jams.
Woo!
Yeah, you do them in the middle of
Hyde Park.
anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like the most amazing deal with them. So
How do people?
we have some big budgets over at LMA. So no, it's great. I think it was a chance for the level 1 and level 2 and future level 3 students to have an opportunity to not only get to know each other but play with each other a bit. And it's worked out really well, I think. And it's great for me because it actually gives me a chance to kind of play a bit, and we got to play together a little bit for the first time. And a couple people like people who have been interested but don't know really what it's about have come along as well. And it's just kind of it's a shit show, but it's a fun shit show. It's like there's no structure, and that's kind of.
So does it run like a show, or is it just get up?
Like we do warm up, and then it's like let's just do some scenes, and it just kind of has naturally evolved into a very very hybrid long sort of format, but not with the structure of the A and the B and the C, just more like the alphabet. But it's fun, and I think it's I really enjoy them, and that's something that I want to keep having available, and also then the next thing is really allowing our students opportunities to start performing. Cindy's been gracious enough to give time for them as well, to have maybe a regular kind of session as well. So stuff like that. So
Right, good. Well, let's plug everything first in case we don't come back to it.
Yeah.
So Dave, you teach for Laugh Masters, and Erin here is Laugh Masters basically. So if anyone wants to learn with you, would they talk to Erin? Is that what they would do?
That would be great.
We do have a list at the door for learning improv, and if you put your name on that, we will give that to Erin as well this week.
Awesome.
What else? What do we need to know about LMA or?
Laughmasters.academy.
Yep.
That's the URL.
Right. Okay.
Well, level 1 starts Monday, level 2 starts on Tuesday.
So you got to be. Is there level 1 full at this point?
Who's level 1 for? Who's teaching it?
Yeah. No. Is it full? Is it full?
No, we still got some space.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if
for
anybody
level
wants to learn with that next Monday.
So if anyone's thinking about learning improv but they're on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say you should just do it. It's very wise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very catchy one.
Yeah, very catchy. I made it up. No, yeah, I do think it's just worth giving you. It's 6 weeks, you know. You've done so many more disgusting things in your life in 6 weeks. You should just do improv. No. We used to say it was kind of like you can take a yoga class or do improv, you know, and you know it's kind of like why don't you exercise your brain and your kind of emotional core a little bit instead of just trying to always get fit. I mean, you will get fit in improv clearly, but there's yeah, I just think you know I would go for it. And you're teaching level 3.
I'm teaching level 3.
Yeah, so that's probably if they can deal with me for 6 weeks, then they'll get to you. That's amazing.
What a plug.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else?
No, that's it. This is another question. You had so many good ones so far. Anyone want to top those?
No, you have a question back there.
Yeah.
Do you prefer long or short form improv?
Long form. And to be honest, all I've done is long form.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, and speaking with these guys and just being around here, I've learned a lot more about short form and theater sports isn't really something I was exposed to in the States at all. But yeah, it's been really it's interesting because I used to see the Big Hoo-Ha in Melbourne, which they do great shows and really great short form kind of improv, and it looks like a lot of fun. I just not something I'll probably eventually do, but just not yet.
Anyone else?
Dave Miles, I'm a level 2 LMA graduate.
Hello, Miles.
If you
I'm
could,
glad you're in the LMA beard today.
if you could improvise with any 3 improv actors, alive or dead, who would they be?
Alive or dead?
You can long form with them.
Great question. I'm gonna say Abraham. No.
Einstein?
You know, it's kind of weird. I really didn't really enjoy it. That'd be amazing. Hitler, Maya Angelou.
Mohammed.
Yeah, it's funny. I really, it's as. Sorry, just shut up, David. I think the first person. Here's the thing. My sucker is, and this is. I love Amy Poehler's style of comedy. Right? I mean, it's something that I find funny, and I just like her. The way she reacts to stuff is what I really like. She's got a great kind of skill for that. The Chris, and it's funny. I didn't like him when he was actually alive, but as I've done more comedy, the physicality of people like Chris Farley, I think, is amazing. I go back and I look at his stuff, and it's really great. And I don't know, Belushi maybe? I think that would probably be it. I don't know what that would look like. It would probably be kind of a train wreck, but yeah, I think that would be my 3.
Okay. So they're all improvisers.
Mm.
Are there any non-improvisers? The question was anyone, wasn't it? Was like, or is it definitely those?
Oh, okay. So if it's
No.
Satisfied with that.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, definitely.
I was just thinking of the only other person I don't want to do anything with is what's her name? Tilda Swinton, because I just think she's awesome. I think it'd be the weirdest set, you know, she's like but I just kind of want to be in the same room with her. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
David, do you see yourself sticking with improv, or do you see yourself kind of maybe exploring other avenues, like you said you did stand-up and stuff? Would you kind of look into doing acting or stand-up like that later down the track?
I think I'll always stick with improv. I think there is a good chance I'd maybe go back or try like formal stand-up, like learning an actual, you know, this is my set kind of type of thing. I just don't know how. Yeah, but an act. No, I'm not interested in ever being an actor.
You've always been that way, or just from your experience so far with?
I don't know. My acting ended in high school in Antigone. You know, like it's like, what time is it, sir? 3 o'clock, sir. That was it. I was like, nailed it. I just didn't. I'm not a good actor. And yeah, I don't. I apologize if anyone here is hardcore actors. I have a hard time.
I don't respect what you do.
No, I have utter respect. I just have a hard time dealing with actors sometimes.
So dealing with yourself, is that the...
No, that's why I think. That's why I'm just kind of a chubby dude's like to make an ass of himself. So that's kind of my role. But yeah, no. I think, but stand up I love. I like because that it's stand up to me. That rush. Like, you do improv because of that rush, right? That first time you're ever on stage and you hear that, like, even if it's like one weird laugh or maybe it was a cough or, you know, you don't even know what it is. But you're like, that was for me. And you're like, and I love that. And those moments on stage as you kind of move up and you're with your team and it's just like this electricity is moving around and, you know, and it happens, you know, sometimes very infrequently. Like, you have so many more bad shows than you have great shows. But when they do happen, it makes up for every bad show that you've ever had. And I think stand-up to me felt like that because it was a horrible set, but there was a couple laughs, and it was just like, I remember those so crystal clearly, and I was like, I'm just like, I want that ice back, you know, like. So I think it will be a bit, like, it's not something I'm going after right now, but I know I'll do it again. Yeah, can't stop.
Any others? That's it. Good. Should we improvise?
Let's improvise.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.